Wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
Well, welcome back. It's been a while. It is Monday morning. It is the tail end of May 2018, and I am back. I'm back in town. I was away for a few days up in our nation's capital, well, close to it, National Harbor, Maryland, which is close enough to see Washington, but really far enough away that you don't get too badly ensnared in the traffic and the goings on. For the 3-day Escape Velocity 2018 convention, which Escape Velocity is the public convention that is put on by the National Museum of Science Fiction, which has not yet been built, but we're still in the proof of concept and crowdfunding and awareness building part of that program. We're aiming for that sweet spot. I mean, between between the Air and Space Museum, which is all hard science, and between the like the Pop Culture Museum up in Seattle, which is all, you know, TV props and whatnot, both great places, but we're aiming for that sweet spot in the middle where we can say, hey, come for the communicator, but stay for the learning on how cell phones work, or come for the neat props, but see how they relate to actual world science. It's very much tied into the educational STEM services, the science, technology, engineering, mathematics courses, and trying to get youngsters interested in in those careers. So that's where then the big chunk of the video will take place. We'll cover that. Let's see. Wrapped up models first of the week. Oh, I went up on Thursday, drove up, got everything set up, hung some paintings, and not my paintings, of course, but the great Tim and Greg Hildebrandt. Their son is on the board of the museum, so we have access to real Hildebrandts. So we've been hanging those and things like that. And then Friday and Saturday, it was smiling and greeting and shaking hands and telling people and about the museum and its efforts, and looking at the wonder in small children's eyes as they stare up at a life-size alien. The juxtaposition is amazing. Also, I took one of my communicator props to show, you know, the kind of the before and after of it all, and many people, of course, my age and older, struck by the irony of taking a picture of a communicator on their cell phone. So we chatted about that a good bit. But yesterday, Sunday, I drove back and drove back through a lot of rain, and then got home today. Of course, you know, went to bed, unpacked, went to bed, got up this morning, shower and shave and all that. Looked at the news, and oh yeah, that was a torrential flooding storm that is ravaging parts of Baltimore, which is just, you know, a hair's breadth above DC. And it's one of those things where ignorance is bliss, because had I known, if I'd seen a radar of what was coming, I would have just hunkered down for one more night. I wouldn't have tried to go in it. But as it was, I ended up driving through excuse me driving through this torrential rain. So back home again, jiggity jig. And unpacked and you know, put the dirty laundry out and all that kind of stuff. So without much more ado than I've already done, let's get into the attractions of the last week's worth of videos. Well, good morning, one and all. It is Monday. It is lead up week to Escape Velocity 2018 up in the glorious Washington, D.C. And I've got 3 days and change this week to get things ready to go to not only that, but to Wonderfest. And I'm doing little housekeeping things. I've pulled out, I think, what is going to be the class of 2018. I've got, you know, maybe 10 or so kits that I'm taking that I want to show off. And what I'm doing today is, or this week, is going around them and doing some housekeeping on them. Fixing up the bases, fixing any battery issues or power issues that might crop up, make sure all the buttons work, that sort of thing. dressing up stands, putting felt on things. So that's what I'm doing. Not terribly sexy, but you know, the stuff you want to do to put your best impression forward with people who have never seen these kits. Now, I'm kind of two minds about showing what it is I've taken before I take it, only because I want it to kind of be a surprise. Some things you know what I'm going to take, and some things I'm just going to show up with. So I will certainly report what I have taken once I get there, once I do my wrap-up type of thing. But exactly what all I'm taking, you can kind of glean from the last few months of videos. But a lot of things that I've been building are too sensitive, too delicate, too big, too freaking huge to ever go to on a prolonged road trip. You will see no Saturn V, obviously. Too big. Christopher Johnson, I'm very happy with how he turned out, but the dude just doesn't travel very well. He's got those antennae. He's got the canisters on his gun. Those things will snap off in a heartbeat. No matter how carefully I pack that. One good bump, and I'm stuck doing a bunch of repairs. So Christopher Johnson doesn't go. I'm not taking into Discovery. I should, but I won't, because again, it's so situated up on that shelf in the display room that I really can't see taking that long. I'd have to put it in one long 5-foot long box, pretty much, or 4-foot long box. And my wee little Honda just does not carry all of those boxes. So it's whatever I can box up and whatever I can, you know, pack that won't break, that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm doing this week. You might see a glimpse here or there. But I'm not necessarily going to drone on about what... Too late. I hear you saying I'm already droning on. But I will catch you up on the 3 kits that I started last week that I will finish this week. Okay, this is giving nothing away to say what this is, because you can't really tell. But what I'm going to do is lay some felt down on the back of it. And here are the remnants of last week's work. You can see the Hawk, which, you know, nobody's secret that I'm going to take the Hawk. I'm debuting templates at it, so I'm going to take the Hawk. So I'm taking the Hawk, but I need to come up with a nice base for it, because it did not come with one. It did not come with a hole for one. So I'm trying to come up with something that uses magnets that I can use this multi-directional posing stand on. But for right now, let's get some felt down on the back of this. Oh, you gotta love it when orders come in. Yes, I was busily packing Wonderfest kits in boxes and seeing how many boxes I would need and all that kind of stuff. And I get an email saying, can I rush out another order? So that's why you hear that's going on in the background. I'm printing up stuff. But I wanted to show you the Eagle stand. That's a magnet on a magnet. I can do all kinds of, well, not too wild poses, because I don't want to change the center of gravity here, but I can do banks and turns and all kinds of funky things. So, a success. Good morning, it's Wednesday and the touching up continues. I found a good dry brush color for the alien, so I've been dry brushing him this morning, and he's all but done. I just need to do the final construction. Look at that face. Do the final construction, and then I want to hit it with a gloss, oily finish, and luckily enough I have something called petrol spill in the Vallejo weathering family, and I'm going to hit him with a good coat of that to give him the greasy appearance. Going back and playing with the Raptor here, I was never happy with how the canopy fits, so I wanted to go in and put in some tulip and then paint over top of that to kind of make that take care of the gaps that are natural when you build the kit, because the cockpit does not fit that well. And I added some detail here and some cabling and whatnot. And let's see, where are we? Still have to put decals on the Dragula. It's one of these obnoxious little delicate kits that every time I touch it I seem to snap something off or break it, so or unglue it, so I am having to be very, very, very careful with that. And I still haven't put the decals on the surfboard yet, and I don't know how many of them I'm actually ever going to use, because I could not find any reference pictures that showed that surfboard with decals on it. But I do know that these pieces here need decaled, so I need to go ahead and get those done. So that and the normal getting ready for the show type of stuff is driving me to distraction today. I put a little bit more of the scenic material on the base, and I did take care of the glossiness of the shoulders of the suit. So Tracy is more or less done, and the bob head is done. So I'm thinking that this kit is finished. I'm thinking that this kit is going to be darn close to finishing, and the Dragula is going to be close to finished. It's time to take a break for some lunch. I just packed some of this steel stick putty, which is epoxy putty, but it's it's dark gray, and it's got little bits of steel in it, I guess, but it acts like the white two-part epoxy, but in this instance it was a better color match. So I just packed some of that into those shoulders to kind of fill out the model, make it a little bit more sculptural, since those shoulders were kind of gangly because they were meant to move, and since I have glued it in place, I went ahead and sculpted those shoulders a little bit more, filled in the gap behind them basically. So that's drying. I've got all the decals down on the surf slab, and that's drying. I'll go back in and touch up the paint on that a bit. Got the decals drying on the faux marble, because you really don't want to put a 200-pound chunk of marble on a drag racer, so it's faux marble. And let's see, where else am I? I got the decal down on the clapper for Bob's kit. The head is over here doing a bit of drying. So we're at a place where I can walk away and go enjoy some lunch, and be back in a minute. Well, I'm here in National Harbor, Maryland again for the Escape Velocity 2018 show, and this is the glorious back end of the Gaylord Hotel, and this is where all the actual work is done. This is the loading dock, and this is me trying to hide in my car so I don't have to pay for a bunch of parking. It looks like we have a quiet moment or two, so I am going to do a quick walkthrough of the gallery exhibit. This is, I'm not going to talk over what everything is, but those certainly look familiar. Yes, and I can get up here and touch things because I'm special. Some original Hildebrands. Yes, it's, forgive the weird lighting. I can't keep a white balance if the lighting is weird. Hello, handsome. You in show business? And particularly new for this year is The Creature and Mary Shelley. Of course, you recognize this gentleman. The arms were missing, but they were delicious. When one trigger just won't do it. I know what's missing is he needs his power turned on. Give me ducked out 1 second. That's better. Much better. That sure would have been handy when I was building my model, I'll tell you that. Nice reference. Beautiful. I can't get over how pink it is, though. Well, good morning. I didn't know I blended in with the curtains. It's Saturday morning. It's early Saturday morning. Yesterday was the first day of the Escape Velocity show, and I'm going to be popping in some requisite photos in here so that you can see some of the frivolity. And today is the long day. It's Saturday, so it'll be the big one. Yesterday morning was finishing setting up the gallery and then standing around and smiling and greeting people, which, as you know, is something I love to do. Interesting story, though. Last night, I got to share drinks and hobnob and otherwise rub elbows with Greg Nicotero. He brought his full-size 2001 one-man pod to the show, which I will pop pictures in. Just because he wanted to build one, he built one. That's the difference between people like Greg Nicotero and you and I. Enjoyed that. Got to, there's a full mock-up Falcon, Millennium Falcon here, and you could get your picture taken inside of that, and I've got some pictures to pop in there of that to show the detail and the craftsmanship. But today I'm going to just do some general walking around with the video and maybe catch some of the activity. This morning there's a couple talks I want to go to, so I need to hurry up and get downstairs for that. But let's see how today progresses, shall we? I almost forgot. I met my good friend Brian yesterday, and as promised, for those of you who are longtime viewers will know what this is. This is, as soon as I get it out of the bag, this is the missing part to the M-Tronic. So now that he has generously donated me his control console, I can finish the M-Tronic. So putting it carefully in the baggie and packing it away so that I do not lose this one like I did the last one. And that should be fun because I can finally finish that model. So safely protected. Brian, you've done your job. Anything that happens to it from this point on is my dumb fault. So let's get on with today. And I swear I did not coordinate the shirt with the curtains. It just worked out that way. Nice. Classic tray. Gotta love the classic tray.
reflecting. There's no question it's gloss.
The other big key thing that keyed me in is the famous photo I caught sitting in front of the Discovery in Brent. I'm like, oh, this is a flat, non-glare, this is glossy. Because they have the same light on.
Oh, you think they had two different versions of the paint job?
No,
And that's the week that was. Really, really neat to be able to chew Greg Nicotero's ear for a goodly amount of time. Probably more than, you know, it was one of those things where had it been any longer, it might have constituted stalking and I would have had an order put out against me. But I was able to bend his ear for quite a while. Being both Pittsburgh boys, he was a Pittsburgher, and I said, well, you know, I went to school there. Does that count? So we were able to chew the tails of the southwestern Pennsylvania elite. That was stupid. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. I'm rambling. So let's get on with next week. Oh, Wonderfest coming up. So not much model building, not any model building being done this week. So I just have to turn around, repack, and head back out. So until next week, which the next report will be the Wonderfest wrap up, and it will be after next Monday. It'll be a while. So please enjoy yourself. Be good to each other, and we'll see you here next time around.